visual spectrum cameras aren't getting as much information from its picture, but the LiDAR and infrared cameras are taking over for most of the data capture.
Again, this is NASA's Boeing crew flight test to the International Space Station, the first flight of astronauts aboard Starliner. Today, they are carrying NASA's Butch, Wilmore, and Sania Williams, both making their third trip to the International Space Station after lifting off at 9:52 a.m. Central Time yesterday from Space Launch Complex 41 in Florida. And we are coming up on 30 meters from the International Space Station, getting a beautiful view now of Starliner as it continues its approach. We are in an automated piloting mode at this time, so the crew is not having to command the spacecraft. Starliner is designed to automatically rendezvous and dock with the space station, but we have seen the crew take manual control of the spacecraft a couple of times during this flight test. One of those happened yesterday afternoon while we were in what is called far field operations. They essentially got to test maneuvering the spacecraft in case they ever did need to take manual control. And because that test went well, they did the same thing as we were at about the 260-meter hold point earlier.
Just passed through the 30-meter mark, and you see the Starliner's forward docking lights turn on. The station is getting a good view of Starliner with the lighting coming from that direction. We're waiting for the Earth to spin a little bit more, sun to move relatively, so Starliner gets a good set of lighting on station, and we'll continue the approach towards the No. 24 docking port. Starliner nearing the 20-meter point, currently at about 22 meters away, still progressing at 0.05 meters per second. From Starliner's view, front of station is still fairly dark, using mostly the LiDAR sensor for feature tracking on the front of the docking, No-24 docking port. Currently, you can see Starliner's NASA docking system, NDS. Docking cover has been open for a long period of flight. Currently, the docking ring on the soft capture system is retracted. It's the inner metal ring on the front of NDS with the 3 pedals sticking out from it. Once we hit the 10-meter docking hold point, Starliner will extend the soft capture system, which is a series of motor-controlled arms. Once we start moving forward after the 10-meter hold point, those arms will remain extended. Starliner will approach the international docking adapter. Upon contact, there are several spring-loaded latches that will attach Starliner to station. Then, several minutes later, the arms on that soft capture system will retract. From there, there are several hooks that will securely latch Starliner onto that docking port, and then from there we will have hard capture. Right now, we're currently coming up on 16 meters away.
And again, we anticipate holding at that 10-meter hold point. This is a built-in hold, and we may wait here until we get ideal lighting. The International Space Station and Starliner are flying over Algeria and about to cross into an orbital nighttime. Again, we see about 16 sunrises and sunsets each day when traveling at orbital velocity. That's 17,500 miles per hour. In terms of relative velocity right now, Starliner is traveling at about 0.05 meters per second. And to translate that, that's about 1/10 of a mile an hour as it moves in toward the International Space Station.
Meter hold confirmed.
Houston copies, and Starliner, we're expecting 6-minute lighting hold before NDS configures for docking.
Okay. Station Houston on the big loop. Starliner's at the 10-meter hold point. ISS crew perform 1.106, step 1.2.
Station copies on the big loop, executing 1.2 of 1.106. ISS crew ready for final approach.
Houston copies.
Starliner Houston, got your fill-ins for your step 31. The maneuver to target align will be at 17:27:40. Expect final approach at 17:30. We're going to have 47 minutes of margin.
2740 and final approach 1730. We don't know if you said 40 or 00.
It was going to be, the time for final approach 17:30:00 with 47 minutes of margin, 47.
Okay, 00 with 47 minutes of margin, copy.
Starliner holding steady in the 10-meter hold point. Currently about 3 minutes and 50 seconds away until for the first phase of the 10-meter hold. We're waiting for better lighting for Starliner's cameras. In the second phase of the 10-meter hold, the NASA docking system will continue to finish its initialization.
Starliner appears suspended in space as it and the International Space Station continue traveling at over 17,000 miles per hour. And again, we are anticipating an orbital nighttime here shortly. We are at the 10-meter hold point. This is a built-in hold for all arrivals. And we will continue holding here until we get the lighting that the teams are looking for to continue to press in towards that Node 2 forward port.
With this close-up view, you can actually get a pretty good view of what the Vesta cameras look like and where they are. Those are the two black rectangular shapes in the upper right and bottom left of that front docking port area. There's also an additional camera offset to the left, just above the orange data connection. Those cameras are spread out in different locations to help better track different features on the front of the international docking adapter.
Continuing to hold at the 10-meter point while the NASA docking system extends the docking ring, or the soft capture ring, I should say. Now less than 10 minutes away from the opening of the next docking window, again that coming at 12:33 p.m. Central Time.
Starliner, Houston on a big loop, NDS and entry cover are configured for docking.
Starliner copies, we're ready.
Capcom Neil Nagata and Commander Butch Wilmore both confirming that they see NDS ready for docking. We're currently sitting about 1 minute 55 seconds away from the final approach ignition. During the last 10 meters, you'll see Starliner approach at a very slow rate, similar to the last 50 meters that we saw coming in the approach corridor.
The view on the right of your screen in the larger box, that's from Starliner's Vesta cameras. This helps Starliner align with the International Space Station. Again, we are docking to the Node 2 forward port today. Window opens at 12:33 p.m. Central Time.
And we're looking about 30 seconds away from the final approach.
Starliner Houston on the big loop. You are go to command final approach with tap stop 4, OFM, trigger next.
Here comes the Sania's putting in the trigger next. Tap stop 4.
Station Houston on the big loop. For the ISS crew, perform 1.106, steps 1.3 and 1.4.
Station copies, executing 1.3, 1.4, 1.106.
And the Starliner crew have gotten the authority to proceed for the final approach. Starliner is currently at just over 9 meters away, approaching at about 0.05 meters per second, or 5 centimeters per second, towards the Node 2 forward docking port.
Again, NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore, the commander, and Sonny Williams, the pilot, on the crew flight test today. This is an autonomous docking, meaning they are monitoring from inside Starliner, but the spacecraft is currently flying itself. Starliner now less than 7 meters away from the International Space Station. All good calls on the ground.
Estimated time of contact is 2 minutes.
Now approximately 5 meters.
And Starliner passing through 4 meters.
Now less than 3 meters away from the International Space Station. Good performance calls coming from teams in mission control.
Starliner at 1.5 meters away, currently about 25 seconds from docking. .5 meters.
Contact capture.
We see the same.
At 12:34 p.m. Central Time above the southern Indian Ocean.
All right, roger that. It's on the record now.
Butch and Sania, of course, very much looking forward to entering the International Space Station, the crew aboard the space station as well.
Starliner Houston on the big loop.
Station's here.
With the residue report on the outside of the Starliner hatch, we're going to work hatches one at a time, starting on the ISS side. So after a pass hatch open for TC, this is 1.302 step 5.6. Let us know if you smell anything off nominal. If you do, close the hatch and egress and we'll talk. But if things are good, we'll take some photos of the Starliner hatch, and assuming that we're still good, we'll work to get the Starliner hatch opened.
Okay, a copy in 1.302. Say again the step. I've got a...
Not a problem, TC. Step 5.6 is the actual APAS hatch opening.
Okay, that may be another... have you...
TC, we're just giving you a big picture right now. So
one more thing from Starliner.
Go ahead, Starliner.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Starliner Houston Big Loop, just be advised we're deactivating Mustang for your suit doffing activities. I'll let you know when it's off.
Okay, can you say the procedure one more time? We were screwing around doing other things.
No worries. 1.302. That's the first green block on your activity, on your timeline. CST hatch leak check, and that's step one only, please.
Step one, CST hatch leak check.
Lots happening right now. Congratulations in the Starliner flight control room. Handshakes all around. Crew is carefully awaiting confirmation of hard dock to proceed with the next steps. Of course, opening up the hatches and welcoming Butch and Sania to the International Space Station. The Contact and soft capture was confirmed at 12:34 p.m. Central Time. Teams in the room there in Starliner Mission Control celebrating the arrival of Butch and Sunny. We're hearing on both ends, on the Starliner end and on the International Space Station end, proceeding to open up the hatches. Celebration here in the International Space Station Flight Control Room as well. Excitement all around to welcome Butch and Sunny on board. Again, it'll be a number of hours before we go ahead and open up those hatches. These steps to safely do so are very methodical. We'll follow along and continue our coverage every step of the way and give you updates on estimated times of the hatch opening and the welcome ceremony. The Mustang system that you heard referred to on the loops there is the internal camera system. Hope to...
I know you got the numbers, but 1.2 is 14.8, 14.8.01. We're in our 10-minute wait. We started about 30 seconds ago.
Okay, yeah, copy that. Hey, Butch, say again the time.
Oh, 200.
Roger.
I stand by. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. That's my from TPI counter. Make that 0445.
And Starliner, Houston, Big Loop, the Mustang cameras are off OFF.
Well, it's a wonderful day in both of the flight control rooms here in Houston. Starliner flight control teams and International Space Station flight control teams, as well as the crew aboard the International Space Station and inside Starliner, all working together to bring these two spacecraft together. We have confirmed docking at 12:34 p.m. Central Time. That was a contact and soft capture. Now the teams in both rooms are celebrating and congratulating all of the hard work that got us to this moment, the two spacecraft together. We're counting down, and we're going to follow along as part of our live coverage every step of the way to take you through the hatch opening steps and welcome Butch and Sunny on board the International Space Station. This is just the beginning of the celebrations, but we still have a lot to do. From here in the International Space Station Flight Control Room, we'll follow along as the International Space Station crew, specifically Matt Dominic and Tracy Dyson, will work together to open up the hatches and begin the methodical sequence of preparing for Butch and Sunny to be welcomed aboard the International Space Station, including pressurizing that vestibule. For now, though, we'll toss it back over to Leah Cheshire and Jim May, who we've been working with and coordinating closely to enable today's docking. Leah and Jim.
Thanks, Gary, and welcome back to the White Flight Control Room, where you can see there is a lot of activity happening behind us. Again, we docked today at 12:34 p.m. Central.
Lots of cheering here in the room. Big hugs. Sunny William coming through in her blue flight suit. Oh.
And followed shortly behind by Commander of Starliner, Butch Wilmore, now back on the space station, the third visit for both astronauts and the first crewed flight test of the Starliner spacecraft.
Everyone looking very happy, like they had a great ride.
And the ingress or the entrance of